There is an NBA rights battle. 11-year, $76 billion, I believe, deal. There's complexities here because they've taken away some of the local rights that used to belong to the team. But the NBA is going to be on ESPN. They're going to be on NBC. And it appears there's going to be a legal battle over whether the NBA is on Amazon or they're on TNT, which has been a historic partner of the NBA for, I think, like the last 40 years or so. What's the story here? Lawyers are going to get involved. And I told you this several days ago. I said it was inevitable. It seemed to me that this was going to end in a lawsuit. And the lawsuit is over. What does the contract say? Has, as they argue, Warner Brothers, which owns TNT, has Warner Brothers been able to match the contract offer of Amazon as is required and a right given to them under their existing contract? Or is the Amazon offer not been matched, as the NBA is arguing and as Amazon is arguing, as it pertains to this? Super complicated case. We will see exactly how it all shakes out. Warner Brothers suing the NBA to argue that they should be able to pay billions of dollars for NBA rights. The most interesting thing to me about this is you've got Amazon and Warner Brothers / TNT, the parent company of TNT, fighting in court now, spending tens of millions of dollars in legal fees over which of these companies gets to lose billions of dollars in NBA rights over the next decade or so. That in itself is kind of fascinating to me. Usually when you have legal disputes between companies, it's over who is going to be able to make the most money. Here, they're arguing over who should be able to lose the most money. Fascinating. To me, the solution is not that complicated. Amazon is around a $1.9 trillion company. In fact, let me give you the live dollar figure market cap valuations of these companies as I am talking to you right at this exact moment. Okay? So Warner Brothers, as I look at this right now, is down 5% today. That is a function in some way, I would imagine, of the fact that the market is not happy over this lawsuit. Warner Brothers has a market cap of just under $20 billion. Amazon has a market cap right now of $1.9 trillion. So Amazon is orders of magnitude larger than Warner Brothers. Here's my solution. Amazon should just buy Warner Brothers. Seems like a logical conclusion. Then Amazon Prime can take HBO, which is by far the most valuable portion of Warner Brothers. They can take the sports rights that they want, that TNT has, the NCAA tournament, which is very valuable, March Madness. The NBA dispute would go away because Amazon would get it, right? Major League Baseball, TNT has a decent amount of that. And now some of the college football playoff games, all that would roll into Amazon, and you would be able to unite, for instance, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, because HBO has all the Game of Thrones rights and Amazon has Lord of the Rings. Plus, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Adam, who fact checks me, Warner Brothers also has all the rights to Harry Potter. How valuable would that be for Amazon Prime to have, not only for the movies that were already made, but the movies that are going to be made in the years ahead? Arguably, in the sort of sci-fi fantasy universe, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter is kind of like the holy trinity of valuable properties. I know you still have Disney has Star Wars and Marvel. Those are very valuable too. But I can argue with you that Warner Brothers trio there is more valuable maybe than Star Wars and Marvel is to Disney. Feels like a huge win for Amazon. And it's a relatively small cost. Now, I haven't seen anybody else, and I'm correct in that. I haven't seen anybody else argue this, but if I'm running Amazon, I'm buying Warner Brothers. And then I'm going to spin off CNN for a few $1 billion. I don't know, maybe New York Times buys them. Somebody out there in left-wing media land would love to own CNN. I can spin off some of the different channels that I'm not really that interested in that still have some value. I retain HBO, all of the IP that I really want, and it costs me what? 25 or 30 billion dollars? That's a rounding error for a $2 trillion company. I'm not always great at math, but 100 billion would be 1/20th of Amazon's market cap, right? 5% of Amazon's market cap would be 100 billion. They're a $2 trillion company. You're talking about Amazon's market cap giving up 1%, 2%, whatever the math is there, of your overall market cap, 2.5%, to be able to own, no, way less than that, to be able to own this entire Warner Brothers franchise. No brainer to me. For 1% of your market cap, you can eliminate any uncertainty. You can add some college football playoff games. You can add March Madness. You can guarantee yourself the NBA. You get all of the infrastructure from that network to be able to produce it. You get HBO. You get Game of Thrones and all of its subsidiary programming, like House of the Dragon that's going on right now. You get all the Harry Potters from here on into the future. It's a no-brainer. Now, again, I don't know if anybody at Amazon's making the thought process here to try to make that decision. To me, it is an easy decision to make. Rather than end up in a long-running, multi-million-dollar dispute over the NBA, I say, okay, let me just buy the whole company. And then I spin off whatever assets I don't want. Like, I'm sure Amazon probably doesn't want CNN, I would bet, because I just don't think they want to get super political. They own a bunch of other stations, Discovery. Maybe they want to keep that. I can see a strong value for all of that Discovery nature programming into Amazon Prime. That doesn't seem crazy to me. Again, I'm not Jeff Bezos. I'm not Andy Jassy, who runs Amazon. But if I were, and make sure we clip and share this because I'm not seeing anybody else talk about it, just buy all of Warner Brothers. Feels like a no-brainer to me. Charles Barkley has ripped the NBA owners as TNT has officially sued the NBA, arguing that they are entitled to be able to keep part of the NBA broadcast rights. He went on Dan Patrick's show, Charles Barkley did, and he said as follows in a statement. I'll talk about Barkley a little bit more, but he said, clearly the NBA has wanted to break up with us, meaning TNT, from the beginning. I'm not sure TNT ever had a chance. TNT matched the money, but the league knows Amazon and these tech companies are the only ones willing to pay for the rights when they double in the future. The NBA didn't want to piss them off. I'm reading a statement from Charles Barkley. It's a sad day when owners and commissioners choose money over the fans. It just sucks. I want to thank everyone who has been at Turner for the last 24 years. They are the best people and the most talented, and they deserve better. I also want to thank the NBA and its fans, the best fans in sports. We're going to give you everything we have next season. Good statement from Charles Barkley. I believe, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong on this, he also told Dan Patrick that Barkley does, a 10-year, $210 million contract with TNT that pays him $21 million a year. That makes Barkley, I believe, the highest paid person in all of sports television. It also means he's made orders of magnitude more as an analyst of the NBA than he did as one of the 50 best players in NBA history. And by and large, he's done it without even having a social media profile presence at all. Reason why I bring that up. First of all, that's money well spent by TNT. $21 million for Charles Barkley is well-deserved, if that is, in fact, what I saw, the headline of how much he makes. I like that it's out there publicly now because that's more than Stephen A. makes. That's more than Pat McAfee makes. That's more than Colin Cowherd makes. I want the dollar figures to keep getting driven up as high as they possibly can for talented people in sports media and otherwise. But I do think Barkley is primarily right here. He's right in the larger context that really what's going on is the television networks are getting overrun by the big tech money. And I told you this yesterday. I don't know if we clipped and shared it yet, but Amazon's market cap is right around $2 trillion. That's how big the company is. Warner Brothers is around $20 billion. That is, Amazon is so much of a Goliath compared to Warner Brothers. I said yesterday, I think that Amazon should just buy Warner Brothers. And I laid out that argument. Guys, let's make sure that gets clipped tomorrow. But basically, I said HBO is the most valuable asset Warner Brothers has. They also have a lot of different sports assets. TNT has the NCAA tournament, along with TBS and True TV. They also have now part of the college football playoff. You could eliminate all the uncertainty about the NBA by simply, if you were Amazon, buying Warner Brothers, squashing in one fell swoop this lawsuit that was filed today in New York, and I think adding Harry Potter, the Game of Thrones, and combining it with Lord of the Rings, that's a pretty powerful trio that would help in the years ahead go head-to-head with Disney, which owns the Marvel franchise now, as well as the Star Wars franchise. Just my idea. That, to me, seems like the clear solution. But I think Charles Barkley did a really good job speaking out in favor of the fans. And I think he's right that this is about the NBA needing to get more money out of streamers and wanting to get Amazon involved in the relationship. So in another 10 or 11 years, Amazon, which will theoretically be quite a lot bigger in 10 or 11 years than it is now, being able to step forward and continue that.